Breath of the Wild versus Tears of the Kingdom. Which one wins? Now, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are probably two of my favorite games of all time. If I had a top 10 ranking for the best video games of all time, both those games would probably be in there. They are both very fantastic games. This is not a video to hate on Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. I actually love and enjoy both of those very much. Played countless hours of both. I've grinded both. Overall, they're pretty good games. But we gotta ask the question, which one would win? Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom? Now, if we were to compare these two, we have to start from the beginning. Breath of the Wild. That's right. This game not only was the winner of the Game of the Year in 2017, but it also was the launch title for the Nintendo Switch 1 back in 2017 in March. This game was announced long time ago. Back when the Wii U first got released. It was like 2 years into like the Wii U's launch, I think, and they ended up announcing Breath of the Wild. Aonuma did, the producer of the game, and they didn't talk about it until like 2016. It got its like full-on direct, I think, in 2016, if I remember correctly. I don't really remember. Anyways, so yeah, this game ended up still coming out on the Wii U because it was announced for the Wii U. But it also was the launch title for the Nintendo Switch, which I think was also very smart because the Wii U didn't sell very well. This is not to hate on the Wii U. I never owned one. I had the 3DS instead. One, because it pretty much had the same games, just on the 3DS. I always liked playing in handheld anyways, just because, I don't know, when I was younger, I preferred that, honestly. Now I like to play it on the monitors, of course, but not back in the day, and I feel like there's also better games. Now, to be fair, I didn't get the 3DS until like a few years after it launched, because both the Wii U and the 3DS had very, very crappy launch title starts. We're not going to get into all that. I was still stuck with my OG DS and the Nintendo Wii until I got the 3DS. Obviously never got the Wii U, and then I got the Nintendo Switch when it released back in 2017. This was something big, this was something huge, and so first off, this game was my favorite Zelda game, especially back on the Wii, until this game came out in 2017. This game changed my life. I can't even tell you how it changed my life. There was just something about Breath of the Wild. I don't know. I think Zelda needed the open world experience at the time. Something new and like refreshing. And that's not to hate on like the original like designs of the Zelda games, like the whole like regular puzzle aspect of the game. Breath of the Wild pretty much takes that out of pretty much the whole game. I mean, I guess you do have the shrines in the game, which are kind of like the puzzles, but in the dungeons. But I mean, really, is that what we're gonna complain about? And they kind of did that and brought it back in Tears of the Kingdom, sort of. But we'll get to that here in a bit. I love Zelda, big Zelda fan. Twilight Princess was my favorite Zelda game of all time, and Breath of the Wild changed that for me, and which is not a bad thing. And I love open world games. I've always had. I don't know if I like that Nintendo is making all of their games open world now. I say that, they're really not, but it kind of seems like they're trying to push more open world games out for their mainline franchises. I mean, shoot, Mario Kart World, an open world Mario Kart game. Cool idea, but the game kind of sucks. Let's be real. Yeah, but open world mixed with Zelda is just absolute peak. Yeah, they cooked with this game. There's just so much to do, and the world is just so big to explore. I've spent so many hours playing Breath of the Wild. I did get all the shrines. There was like 120, I believe. I did get all the shrines. Did not get all the Koroks. That's the one thing I didn't do in that game. I did everything else, side quests, everything. I tried to 100% it. I didn't want to get the Koroks, as we all know what you get if you get all of them, and I just didn't care. 999 Koroks is a little bit overdue, but you don't have to do them. That's the thing. You don't have to. And so I didn't. So, played Breath of the Wild quite a bit. Then it comes down to E3 of 2019, I believe. And there was the Nintendo Direct in that summer. And they announced the sequel to Breath of the Wild, which we all remember that trailer when that got released, with the dead corpse Ganondorf coming back to life. It was a really, really short trailer, but dude, I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I rewatched that trailer. I probably replayed that thing. I probably had it on like a 10-hour loop, honestly, just going over every detail because I was just that excited. And of course, 2020 hit. Nothing from Nintendo at all. That was probably the weirdest year for Nintendo. But we also had a pandemic. There's that. So they didn't come back around until 2021. And they dropped a full-on trailer for Tears of the Kingdom. And oh boy, that trailer got me hyped. Got me jumping out of my chair. I mean, just like Link jumping off the Sky Island and going into the ground and like diving in. Definitely some Skyward Sword elements there, and I think that's a good thing. Now, speaking of Skyward Sword, I tried playing that back on the Wii when it came out, and I'm gonna be honest here, I did not like it at the time, and so they did re-release it on the Nintendo Switch in an HD version. I did pick it up. I did play through it all the way. I don't know if I like this game or not. Definitely the controls are off with this game. Nintendo made it to where you swing Link's sword with the left joystick. Or maybe it was the right. I don't remember. It was one of the joysticks. It was the wonkiest thing, and Link's movesets were just really weird in this game because they took a game that was really, really set and made for the Wii and ported it to the Switch. So it was kind of hard to do stuff like that. See, with Twilight Princess, though, this originally came out on the GameCube, right? I could be wrong on that. But yeah, and they ported it to the Wii. Then it got ported to the Wii U. Still waiting for it to be ported to the Switch. We may never get that. I don't know. We might get a Switch 2 edition. That would be fire. So yeah, when it came time, like kind of closer to release, I don't remember exactly, but we got a direct for the game, like a full-on direct presentation focused on Tears of the Kingdom, to hype the game up and get ready for Nintendo's biggest game of all time. And so what we got from that direct was everything I wanted to see. You know, we've already had like 3 or 4 trailers by this point, and I was already set. I was like, this is going to be the best game of all time. So, came out in May of 2023, I believe. Yeah. And I played it for like 4 days in a row. Not like straight. I obviously took breaks in between, but it was a game where I had to grind and complete. Now, I will say, I messed up my experience playing this game. Why? Because I played through it way too quick. I rushed through it, tried to beat the story, my whole plan was to, because I've already played Breath of the Wild for countless hours, my whole plan was to get through the story really quick, like rush through it, and then go back and do all of like the other side stuff, like the shrines, the side quest, all of that. So I did. I played through the story. I beat Ganondorf, and I started doing the shrines. I started doing the side quests, and I don't know. I just got really bored of the game for some reason. And that's not to say it's a bad game. I've played this game for countless hours as well, like probably over 100 hours, which is not compared to this, but that's because this is the original game, and I feel like there was just so much to do in this game. But then again, Tears of the Kingdom just steps it up in a way that, like, yeah, this is the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Like, this is Tears of the Kingdom for you. It's the second game, and they sure in heck make sure it's a sequel. Not only do they use the same world map from the first game, but they also have now the Sky Islands you can explore, which there's tons of those to explore with. You have different unique ways of getting up there. I love the Sky Islands. I don't have a problem with them. Then when it gets down to, you discover the depths of the map. Yeah, there is a second map. Technically there's three. You have the main map from Breath of the Wild. Then they reuse it for Tears of the Kingdom because it's a sequel. But how are they going to step that up? You have a second layer. It's the Sky Islands, right? You can explore all those. There's shrines to do up there. Then there's the underground map, which is the complete regular size map, like the original map, but it's underground, and it's called the Depths. They hid that from us fans. I didn't get spoiled from it at all. I didn't watch any leaks for the game because I wanted this game to be a full surprise. That was a full surprise, and I'm not complaining about it. I think it's a cool idea. But all of the gloom lights you have to complete, they're not like shrines. You basically just go up to them and unlock it, and you unlock more parts of the depths. And if you figure it out, spoiler alert, I don't know if this is spoiling the game. The game's been out for 2 years now. But if you go to your regular map, each little gloom light is underneath a shrine from the regular map, so you can just go off of that. And so there's like 120 of those as well, I think, as well as the shrines, plus the Sky Islands, plus the side quest. There's a lot to do in the game. I got pretty bored, and I didn't want to do all that all over again because I did get all 120 shrines in Breath of the Wild. Try to 100% complete it as much as I could. And honestly, I didn't really want to do that again. That's just takes so much time, and but which is not a bad thing. I still love the game. But yeah, I have recently played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom once again. I put those little cartridges back in. This time on the Switch 2. If you have Nintendo Online Plus expansion, you get their free upgrades for the Switch 2 edition, which enhances the graphics to 4K and 120 frames, which is insane for a Nintendo console. But I messed around with those updates that I got since I already had the membership, and dude, it's a different game, honestly. Like, it's a whole new experience, and I kind of want to like go back and replay, like start over and play Tears of the Kingdom again. I've played this Breath of the Wild like story like probably like 5 times. Like, I have multiple saves for this game. My main save is obviously the one with almost 100% completed. But I've only played through this game once, like story-wise. So I might have to give this thing a try again on the Switch 2, just with the better graphics. Now we gotta talk about this bad boy. Yeah, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. I'm just kidding. That game isn't a bad game. You can say what you want about the Hyrule Warriors franchise. I actually like the games. I've played the Definitive Edition the one that got ported over to the Switch, like the original Hyrule Warriors. I played that when it came out, and I honestly liked it. Like I had fun with the game. It was overall pretty good experience, except like story-wise, it was kind of a mess. But this one is the same type of game style, except it's taking place before the events of Breath of the Wild. But then you also get into some crazy story conflicts, and they pretty much make their own little story with this game. It's published by Nintendo, but it's also developed by another company, so it's like a second-party game. They're actually about to make another one called Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is the prequel to Tears of the Kingdom in a sense. So you pretty much play as Zelda this time around, and it's taking place in the past from this game. It's a messy timeline. Don't ask questions, just play the games and have fun with it. Now that brings us back to the question. Breath of the Wild versus Tears of the Kingdom. Which one wins? And I'm gonna have to be honest here. I love both games. They're both very good games, and both are similar in their own ways and different in their own ways, and that's a good thing, especially when you have a sequel to a very, very popular game that also won Game of the Year. Tears of the Kingdom did not win Game of the Year. It was nominated, but I think Elden Ring ended up taking the spot for that game. Now, overall, I would say Tears of the Kingdom is the better game, just because of how much you can do in it, and I mean, they just step it up in so many different ways in Tears of the Kingdom, especially with like the whole Ultra Hand mechanic, where you can pretty much build anything. I've seen some crazy things online with what people have built. It's actually insane, and the creativity in the game, and overall, it's just, in general, it's obviously the better game. But without Breath of the Wild, you don't have Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild is the original game. It's the first game, it did it first. They cooked for a long time with both of these games, spent years developing both. And, but because of, not because of nostalgic reasons at all, but I'm just gonna have to say it, Breath of the Wild wins. I always would have said Tears of the Kingdom would have won back in 2023, but I've gave it some time and I've thought about it, and Breath of the Wild is definitely the winner for this one. So yeah. Hey, so if you're wondering why my quality on my videos are pretty bad, that's because I edit everything on my phone and do all of my work on my phone. So if you want to help me out and have better quality of videos, you could subscribe to the channel and support the channel, and it would help me out a lot. We have a goal now of 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so you should do that.